0 by ratio 2007. So the only company certified at such so many levels. So again, we welcome sir on stage with a round of applause. Now I invite Mr. Tejasvi Nayak, Municipal Commissioner, Bhopal Municipal Corporation on stage. Bhopal Municipal Corporation has a robust ERP solution in terms of contributing to smart cities, and he is looking for some private companies to join hands with him and develop these urban technologies for urban development in Bhopal. And now I invite Mr. Ravi Gupta, Head IT Group, Delhi Integrated Multimodal Transit System Limited, DIMTS. With a round of applause, we invite Mr. Gupta. And just to tell you that DIMTS specializes in urban transport and provides end-to-end solution from concept, design, operation to information dissemination to consumers. And it is as we all know, it's a major stakeholder in terms of smart cities. We welcome you, sir. And finally, I invite Mr. K.V. Ganesh Babu, Vice President of GIFT. And I wonder who doesn't know about GIFT. GIFT is a smart city already constructed in the Gandhinagar of Gujarat, and on the concept of technology and on the concept of finance and technology. So they have already set up an example, and we will be very glad to get the experience to listen about GIFT from him. So with the introduction of our key panelists, now I hand over the session to Honorable Chair, Mr. Avinash Mathur.
Good morning. We've heard about smart cities a lot over the last few months. The government's new initiative, everybody is very excited about it. But then, what is a smart city? Suddenly, why we are so interested about smart cities? What are the benefits smart cities will give us? And how we can create smart cities? Will smart cities be a government initiative? Will it be a public sector initiative? Will it be an SME initiative? Will it be a private sector initiative? Will it be a partnership between all the various industry segments as well as the government? How will it all work together? These are the questions that we are aiming to answer in this session. And I hope with our eminent panelists over here, we are able to discuss and debate and come to some conclusions. Obviously, we all sort of know today that smart cities will come together as a partnership between the public sector and the private sector. And today I will specifically from Vodafone's perspective present to you as to what Vodafone has done and how we see the smart cities ecosystem developing within India. So obviously smart cities means smarter living, but what does smarter living mean? Now, I'll give you a few data points. In 2007, there was more population around the world living in cities than rural areas. So the transition between rural to urban, where urban population was higher than rural population, happened in 2007. And by 2050, leading consultants have forecasted that approximately 70 to 75% of the world's population is going to be living in cities. Now these cities will be either existing cities that will be developed, made smarter, made more mature, with better infrastructure to handle these additional inhabitants, and also newer cities that will be created over the course of the next few years. We've already seen how China has rapidly created cities and smart cities, and the same thing has to happen in India, both organically as well as a little bit in developing more cities, newer cities as well. Now, as cities become bigger, they have to become smarter because as more and more inhabitants come in, then there is a load on natural resources, there's traffic, there's consumption of electricity that increases, there's issues with basic infrastructure, public services, water, and so on and so forth. And we need to make cities smarter to make sure that the cities is running smoothly and the usage of resources is optimized. And I'll come to what smart means, but then let's just look at what are the different things that are today driving this intelligence that cities are more and more expected to have. So of course there is Digital India. A city which is smart, of course, has to support the Digital India initiative, which means the government has to be able to communicate in a more effective way to citizens, and the citizens should have an effective and easy way to communicate to the government. Expanding urbanization, which means we should be able to expand sensibly, develop the road networks, develop public infrastructure properly, and have the right controls built in. Citizens, as more and more people go overseas, they see municipal services, public services overseas. They see how government to citizen services are being laid out in other countries, developed countries. They see the kind of amenities that other countries have. They see how water and electricity use is optimized. And they all want this in India. So there is more and more expectations for cities to become more mature and more smart. And of course, as I said, there is efficiency drive because we want to reduce the drain on natural resources, on water, electricity, and public services. And also for better investment, as MNCs say, investments are going to be driven in areas that have better infrastructure, and therefore if we need that investment, we need to develop our cities. And last but not the least, sustainability. These cities will be more sustainable and help reduce our carbon footprint. So then, when we talk about all these things, what are we actually talking about? We are talking about things like, as you can see appearing on screen, traffic management, tourism, security, and so on and so forth. And I'll take a few examples. For example, in the UK, now anybody can buy a traffic monitoring device that's going to help them plan their route in their car and also tell them if there is traffic in a certain area, warn them, tell them how much time it will take more to them, and also suggest alternate routes. So that is smart traffic management. Similarly, in Germany, and this is a Vodafone app, they have developed an app where they are using machine-to-machine SIM cards installed in public parking spaces, which means, for example, if there is one parking space, there is one machine-to-machine car monitoring that space to see whether there is a car parked or not. That information is fed into a server and can be accessed by citizens. So when you are in the city center, you know where parking is available and where parking is not available. Ticketing and tolling. In places like Dubai, you don't have to stop at a toll gate. You just pass the toll gate with a smart tag, and your prepaid balance in the smart tag gets decremented. Emergency services. In Europe, places like Germany, the response rate to a person suffering from heart attack is maximum of 5 minutes and an average of 3 minutes. Recently, a person I know, not recently, about 10 years ago, a person I know in Germany had a heart attack just outside his house, and he just called the 911 services because he was still able to use his fingers, and the services arrived to that particular area in less than 2 minutes, and that life was saved. Now what this requires is understanding the traffic patterns, understanding a lot of things that go into how smart cities are created. Public transport, ability to track and trace as to where the public services are plying, and therefore telling the citizens as to when a particular bus is going to arrive, whether it's going to be 2 minutes late or so on. So an existing city could be made a smart city by starting to develop these initiatives, which is essentially a bottom-up approach. You look at public services, you look at citizen to government services, you look at services that can be deployed in the public sector, and start to develop piece by piece these initiatives, and they would then all come together and create that ecosystem. The other approach is when you start to create a new city, like for example the one the Gujarat government is creating, then using the insights which are available already, you can already create an infrastructure, and when citizens come in, then they'd be able to use that infrastructure. So essentially, aside from infrastructure, what would smart cities drive? Smart cities, from a citizen's perspective, could be either cities to live and work in, or they can be cities to retire in, right? So as a professional, when I look at which city that I want to live in, what do I consider? I consider things like what is driving that economy, so whether it's gonna create jobs for me or not, whether it has the proper schooling facilities or not, whether it has the right infrastructure or not, and so on and so forth. Now a person who's past his retirement will not look at that. He would look at something else. Whether there are better healthcare facilities, whether the communities are well developed, whether there are safe neighborhoods, and so on and so forth. So the needs may differ, but essentially it rides on either an employment pillar or a quality of life pillar, driven by public services like transport, education, health, urban mobility, resource management, which further is cemented by applications like intelligent traffic management, connected homes and workspaces, public safety, waste and energy management, and so on and so forth, which drive your social and physical infrastructure. And behind this, there is a governance layer that would be dashboards available to governments, portals available to citizens, command centers that monitor the state of these services. And all of this essentially has to get driven by a robust ICT infrastructure. So basically, in order to create a smart city or to turn an existing city into a smart city, what we need as one of the key building blocks is the right kind of connectivity. Whether that's mobile connectivity or Wi-Fi connectivity or fiber connectivity or lease lines or MPLS VPNs, you need to have that connectivity between offices and homes, between government and citizens, between public sector and private sector to drive sharing of information and the ability to share information between people as well as devices, and then between people and devices. So aside from connectivity, then what also becomes important is applications, cloud infrastructure, hosting infrastructure, converged communications, all the applications and services that can be layered on top of connectivity. And that is where I would say Vodafone comes in, because Vodafone has globally enabled smart cities through these building blocks, which is our expertise with information, communication, and technology infrastructure. We drive the connectivity and the converged communications and the cloud and hosting services, software as a service. We work with application partners to develop and run ecosystems that power smart cities. And these are just a few countries where we have actually partnered the government and other countries, system integrators, IT vendors to create either cities from scratch or start to build those applications that would gradually create those smart ecosystems into existing cities, including but not limited to enhancing public transport, optimizing street lighting, waste collection, surveillance, and the other examples that I'd given to you. So there's a number of things that Vodafone has done in Europe, countries in the Middle East and Asia, and we are extremely keen to work with the Government of India in the Digital India vision as well as their vision.
Has come across the country, ladies and gentlemen. I will give here the government of Bihar perspective about the smart city in general, but particularly because I belong to the building construction side, so I will explain what kind of activities we are going to undertake in building construction activities that will be useful for making a smart city in our state. The smart city, what we understand about the amalgamation of all interlinkages activities, that may be the sustainable growth, economic prosperity, optimum utilization of resources, natural resource management, traffic management of course, and several other factors that will take care of the smart city activities. Here, we have to take care of the things in our Bihar, the infrastructure development. That is the utmost important for making a smart cities in our state, making good quality of in business environment, and third one is the most important, inclusive and sustainable cities that will take care of the entire activities. In our state, these are some of the line department which has to take care of the making of the inclusive and sustainable smart cities in our state: urban development, building constructions department, IT, forest and environment, panchayati raj, and energy and transport. These are the departments which are the directly linked with the smart city activities. Now I will go for the specific activities for the building vision that will link and that will take care of the greater part of the smart cities in our state. Some of the activities relating to building vision we have already starting taking care, like Bihar Museum, International Convention Center, and Police Headquarters, Kishanganj Agriculture College. These all are the entirely based upon the green building concept and several other factors that is the directly and inclusive attached with the smart city activities. In our state, building, we have made in the three different kind of activities actually, the Building Construction Department and Bihar State Building Construction Corporation. We have prepared the paper relating to Building Con Vision 2047. For that, we have made the short-term plan, longer-term plan, and the medium plan. Some of the activities which we have already started to take care of those kind of activities, and some that will take care for the longer duration. At present, we have several kind of problems like safe and healthy accommodations. We don't have that much facility. Construction technique is entirely dependent on the natural concrete and several other sand, the normal traditional kind of materials, use of several conventional resources, that is the limited for our state, conventional design on the entirely in the architectural based conventional design based constructions we have. Construction activities, we have the large construction activities, but how we can utilize and how we can recycle those kind of construction activities, that we have to think on that issue. And parallelly, we have already started working how we can utilize the natural resources, non-conventional resources, because we have the limited conventional resources and materials, how we can utilize these kind of resources. The smart building, that will take care of these things: cost minimizations, optimum utilization of resources, sustainability and inclusive development for our state. In Bihar, especially in the building construction activities, the building cost, which has more than 50 crore cost, we have already started the green building concept for all those kind of buildings. See the left side, these all are the attributes of green building, and in the middle is smart buildings. Only few activities for which we had to take care of these two: advanced security and communication systems and structural health monitoring system. In Bihar, we have police headquarters, which will take care of these activities also: the structural health monitoring system, global vibration health monitoring system. These are the self-sustainable 7 steps of self-sustainable buildings that we have taken for the new buildings, especially in the Bihar Museum, which cost is more than 500 crore. International Convention Center, its cost is more than 480 crores. Bihar Agriculture College, its cost is more than 600 crores, like that. All these kind of sustainable building, and even the small buildings like Polytechnic and ITI, we have taken into consideration. These all we have started for the long-term plan, short-term plan, and for the medium plan. Government, we have already started working how to work, how to optimum utilize the resources, and what are the different linkages between each and every department that will directly and indirectly link for the smart cities. In Bihar, especially the urban development department, they have already started working for making smart cities. Some of the cities, they are already ready, especially like the cities like Patna, Darbhanga, Muzaffarpur, Bhagalpur, Purnia, and Bodh Gaya. These 5-6 cities, we have already started working on that. So these are some of the activities like the architectural design, structural design, structural health monitoring system. These all are the attributes for which we have taken into consideration. In Bihar, because especially some of the cities which are situated near the river, like cities like Patna, Bhagalpur, and some of the other cities also. So there are a lot of different kind of problems. So we have started working on the shifting housing. The structure design should be based on those kind of techniques which will take care of the shifting housing technique. Some of the private party, they have already started working on that, and government is also thinking to work in that directions. Floating house colony, use of shifting house, as I have already explained it. Non-conventional research, maximum utilization of non-conventional construction materials like flies, ash, brick, and several other kind of materials that we are using. These are some of the recycled construction materials, although we have the limited resource available in these directions, but we have started working on that. Energy efficient planning and design, non-conventional resources, we are trying to use utmost in all sectors. I have already explained it about these kind of requirement. These are efficient water management and drainage system. We are lacking in these sectors, but as a long-term plan in building construction department, we will try to take care of these things, and this is the composite constructions activities in our state. Transportation system, the transport department has to take care of these things, and especially for some of the good high-rise buildings and some of the high-cost building, we have taken into consideration this part also. These are some of the future models which we have to work, and we are working on this. These are the structural health monitoring system, like some of the buildings like police headquarters and several other buildings. We are utilizing the global vibration management monitoring system, which will take care of the constructions activities, the durability. These are some of the conclusion. Finally, I will explain that the final objective of a smart city means the smart buildings, a smart road, ICT, optimum utilization of ICT, drainage system, sustainable and energy efficient buildings. These are some of our objectives. We are working it, and we will work on it. Thank you.
Very much, sir, about your views. Very, very interesting. Now I will request Shri Tejasvi Nayak, Municipal Commissioner, Bhopal Municipal Corporation, to express his views.
As my co-panelist, Mr. Avinash, has already given you an outlay or overview of what a smart city consists, I think my own opinion has been smart city as a concept is still quite a bit fluid concept. It is yet to arrive. It is yet to crystallize as a concept. In terms of definition, if we are talking about getting everybody on the digital bandwagon, then I think my city, Bhopal, qualifies to be a smart city because we have already implemented ERP solutions in our municipal corporation in a 100% manner, and we are in a position wherein we are ready to jump to the next level, wherein we integrate the same with the citizen, who forms our basic and the most important aspect of our experience. Smart city, if I have to explain it to you or on the basis of my own experience, we have all seen what has been 1990 for the world and India in particular. The start era of globalization, the initial days of globalization. Since 2000, in the government sector, what we have been doing is to go for massive computerization, going for digitization of the records, going for a online experience. All this has made platform, all this has given us an opportunity to use a better solution through which we can use all the coming inputs onto a common platform. The problem has been with the increased digitization, we have not yet been able to totally leave the earlier forms of manual methods back, and we are also not been able to use the existing information in a proper manner. One good example I'll give you is the 2611 attacks. We had a very good control room in place. We had a robust police force with all the sorts of communication. But the attacks experience has been that within 2 minutes, I am told, if my data is right or wrong, I don't know. Whatever I studied, I got to know. Within 2 minutes, there were around 40,000 calls coming from all over the city. So we have created the infrastructure for getting the data, getting the information. But how do we assess it? I think that's where the concept of smart city lies. Smart city or smart systems. Most of our sectors in government, most of our cities, most of our departments right now are on the computerization spree. What we require as a next step right now is to use this data in a proper manner. We should have data which has interoperability. We should have a data which is not siloized. It should interact with each other. We should have a data which conforms to the standards of digital convergence. In Bhopal, right now, with the ERP solution in place and online building permission in place and a very good BRTS model in transport, we have one of the best BRTS transport systems in India, wherein we have a 21-kilometer length of bus rapid transport system going on. All the buses are GPS enabled, all the buses have video cameras in it, and all the buses have information panels in it. We are on the way to make it Wi-Fi enabled through different towers and different infrastructure in place, so that parts of the city, at least in the beginning, become Wi-Fi enabled. So our goal is to go for a Bhopal which is completely Wi-Fi enabled in another 3 years. So with all these things in place, Bhopal is already on the way to become a smart city if we are to consider the present definition of smart city. The question is, how can we improvise it? As a municipal commissioner, the usual complaints I get is, and I have to tell you, grievance redressal is the major part. It's the most important part for any government department, and more so for a municipal corporation. The usual complaints as a municipal corporation commissioner I get is of garbage disposal. The second usual complaint I get is of sewerage management. The third one would be inability to pay taxes, inability to process the fees. The fourth one would be other miscellaneous complaints like stray animals, stray dogs and pigs and other kind of things. The point is, if we are talking about smart city as a concept, we do have to take into consideration the expectations of the people. As long as we don't connect it to the grassroots, to the user experience, I don't think any concept would be successful in its own way. So the world has a lot of experiences in smart city. We always look towards West. My question always has been to my people and to all the people I have been meeting, why shouldn't we look into ourselves? Why shouldn't we be coming up with our own concept of smart city, and why should we always be looking at the other experiences? For best practices, yes, it's right. We have to gather all the best practices possible. But we also need to look into our own experiences, our own strengths. And India right now, I think we can be the world leaders in smart city. We have a very good, robust software industry. We have a very good youth population coming up. And smart city in the future would require all these things if we are to sustain it. Sustainability will be really, it will be necessary to have very good back-end support. Our experiences in digitization has been that we went to digitization, we went to having computerization done, but there was no proper back-end support. In the computerization thing, in the government sector at least, our experience has been, we mostly put our onus on the procurement of hardware. We never thought how will we analyze the data. Analytics is going to be a major challenge, and that is where the smart city concept helps us. For Bhopal, I see, as I said, in terms of Wi-Fi connectivity, I look at a future wherein each and every citizen of mine will be able to access Wi-Fi unhindered anywhere possible within the city limits. We already have a good public transport system. I see a future wherein a person, a commuter, can have access to the information as per to plan his travel schedule or the options he has. Also, it can be used as a tourist information system. I look at a future for my city wherein the citizen has an experience like Facebook or Twitter when it comes to paying of taxes. He doesn't have to go physically to the nearest citizen service center. He has to what he has to do is use his mobile and pay his taxes without any hassle. I look at a future where all these things will combine to change my city into a smart one and delinks it with the existing tag, which all of you might be knowing. Bhopal is usually synonymous with gas tragedy. This is something we are trying to delink it with. And Bhopal has to be known as smart city in the coming years, and this will be our part. I think other points will be shared and discussed in the upcoming panel discussion. I thank the panel for allowing me to express my opinion. Thank you.
A panel discussion shortly after. At this point in time, I'll request Mr. Ravi P. Gupta, Head IT Group, Delhi Integrated Multimodal Transit System, to please come on stage and share his views.
Good morning, my friends, my respected panelists on the dais. Thank you, Government of Kerala and ENETS for having me present as a speaker here. My name is Ravi Gupta, and I represent Delhi Integrated Multimodal Transit Systems Limited, in short, DIMTS. Our tagline is, we help people move. Mobility is paramount to us. And what we see is that on an average every day, each household spends 1 hour to 4 hours on the road. So whether you are commuting to office, whether you are coming back from office, you have to drop your kids to the school, you have to buy groceries. So traffic and movement is essential. And this is
I'm laying down the premise of my presentation. When we are going to be spending so much time on the roads, and this is where the concept, as mentioned by Mr. Mathur, that how can we build smart cities? So traffic, parking, ticketing, public transport, all of it becomes important. And therefore, certain questions arise. We can predict that a congestion is going to happen on a particular stretch of the road, a part of the city. And if I can predict that, can I in real time disseminate this information to the people who are going to approach this segment of the road? And hear me, I'm emphasizing it, repeating it again. Can I predict in advance where a congestion is going to happen, and can I transmit in real time to the passengers who are going to approach that section that a jam is going to happen on this, so avoid it. 3, can my traffic signaling system in real time be adjusted to divert traffic to other sections? Can I, as a commuter who's standing at a bus stop, know that my next bus that is going to come at my bus stop is going to be delayed, or what time is it going to come? The answer to all these questions is yes, it's possible. DIMTS has made a beginning. We have done a lot of work in answering some of these questions in the city of Delhi. We have implemented some of these solutions, and we are a work in progress, as Mr. Mathur said, on parking and ticketing as well in the city of Delhi. So with this premise, I open my presentation. DIMTS is a 50-50 joint venture with the government of Delhi and the IDFC Foundation, which is a not-for-profit. We offer end-to-end solutions in the areas of transport planning, design, project management, asset management, which could be the buses and the cluster buses, and more importantly, as the head for IT, I am looking forward to be talking in great detail in the box, the red lined box, on intelligent transport systems, the automatic location-based services, which is the AVL system, the payments, and we are very unique here. We read a lot about Uber trying to capture the transit space in India. Uber is doing this. At the end of my presentation, DIMTS also has something which BBC covered in their news on November 3rd and called us India's Uber for auto rickshaws. We also do mobile applications, and I'll tell you why are mobile applications important. We draw resources from the prestigious institutions, the IITs and the IIMs, the BIT, FMS, MDI, and we have people who are working from PwC, L&T, etc. Do you hear echo in my voice? Maybe do you hear echo in the audience? Are you able to hear me clearly? Okay, thank you. So this is what I just mentioned, end-to-end solutions, right from advisory. So we were advisors to the Mumbai Metropolitan Authority on the monorail project. We do a lot of turnkey engineering services. We do asset operations and management. And what is important is this, which is leveraging the information communication and telematics-based solution that helps us achieve all of this. Very quick highlights. I'm building the premise, so bear with me. I'm not showcasing what DIMTS is all about. Very quick highlights. We did the city-level comprehensive mobility planning for Dehradun, Bhopal, Rohtak, Tuticorin. We do intelligent signaling systems, so we are implementing a Wi-Fi signaling system, mind you, which has got no wires, so that when you dig up the roads, the signals continue to work. In the BRT of Surat, we are revamping the entire signaling system of Ahmedabad. We do have advised on the bus rapid transit for Naya Raipur. Depot planning, and bus operations management, the public transport I mean. Some of our clients that are mentioned here, essentially all in the government space, and we also have worked abroad in Addis Ababa and advising them on transport solutions. Now, I now switch and come on to the next part of my presentation. What are the drivers in the Indian context? Smart city, Mr. Mathur has explained, so I'll not take time here. But what Wikipedia says is something which is an amalgamation of social capital, human capital, and the modern information communications technology to help us improve our quality of life. Coming back to India. The National Urban Transport Policy was first formulated in 2006. And if I were to again draw your attention on the last part where I've done a trick, it is to promote intelligent traffic systems for a cleaner and efficient city operation and build capacity for sustainable urban transport. The entire premise of my presentation is going to be on transit space in smart cities. This is a question, and there's so many of you on the panel here, so many of you in the audience here from the government sector. Where should the investments go? So we have a Digital India announcement. We have to build 100 smart cities. Lots of investments have been lined up, but where should investments go? Should they be going in designing more and more monorails or mass transit or metro rails as we see coming up, or we got to build transport infrastructure, but nobody seems to be talking about IT infrastructure. And I'm not saying IT infrastructure on its own can achieve, but IT infrastructure is important because if you have an intelligent IT infrastructure, you can, and somehow my presentation seems to hang, let's see, yes, you can enable efficiency in urban transport. And this is where I'll say the intelligence comes in. An intelligence transport blueprint for a city should help the State Transport Corporation in smart transport planning. So you get to know what times are your buses leaving the sheds, are your drivers carrying the required number of passengers, are they stopping at the designated stops. So efficiency, you bring in intelligent decision support, and you also bring in smart congestion management, because once you have location-based services on your public transport, you get to know the prediction of queuing up of traffic on a particular stretch of the road. Then you transfer all of this information to the passenger. Now you may be wondering what this traditional method was. You have the passenger information display boards and which have a scroller there which says this bus is arriving in 5 minutes or 20 minutes. I'll take you one level ahead, and which I'll explain in my presentation. It's the power of mobile applications. Today, I should be able to transmit that information in real time on mobile applications to the consumer without any incremental cost to the exchequer. I can also help the passengers. You're making an impact now on the commuter. It's not running more buses. It's not building more flyovers. You got to help the consumer make a decision. So he can also plan how he should be traveling. So if he needs information in real time to be traveling from X to Y, what are the options available to him? And similarly, you have efficient transport management. This slide is the key to my presentation. So once we will start from the bottom of the pyramid, once you have the design in place for which the vision is there, Digital India is there, investments are going to be lined up, the concept is there, the city administrators and all of the public decision making has been made, you have to invest in the discovery phase and have to do a lot of analytics. My friend on the panel here, Mr. Nayak, did mention about analytics. Without analytics, that intelligent transport map is not possible. You will have lots of data coming in at 10 seconds. We track 50,000 vehicles in the city of Delhi, 50,000. And each vehicle sends us data every 10 seconds, every 10 seconds. There is no point in sitting on this data unless I'm able to process it, and that's where analytics comes in, unless I'm able to process it and deliver it to the commuter, for which you need a robust IT infrastructure. And as I said, the cheapest way to communicate in real time today, where Vodafone also helps us through data connections on our phones, smartphones, is the mobile application. So this is how I envisage, or the company envisages, urban transit in smart cities. What has been our experience in transit? So we do a lot of, we call it the cluster bus management system, the intra-city bus services. We do GPS-based fleet management. We do electronic ticketing. We do passenger information systems. We do intelligent signaling, mobile applications, and traffic management and information control. The IT solutions today offered by eINDIA cover 4 key verticals, and which is automatic vehicle location, the location-based services, mobile apps. So we have 3 mobile apps. I will demonstrate to you how do they work. They are active on Google Play. You can download them as we talk. We also do automatic fare collection. In 1,265 buses, we issue electronic tickets. Now, Kerala has always been the pioneer in issuing automatic ticketing. But my question will be, what do you do after that? Do you run analytics there on automatic fare ticketing? Do you realize which are my trunk routes that give me more revenue? Should I optimize my route so that I ferry more passengers? Unless we do all that analytics on the data that comes simply in the form of ticketing, it's pointless. And then we also do identity management, so we do smart card-based driving license. I have Sir here, we were also doing Aadhaar cards. And the last, this one is where is the differentiator. We also have a payments product. We are managing on a daily basis collections of 80 lakh rupees every day that runs through our system. We have a smart card based smart fare, so you just have to tap it on the electronic ticketing machine in the bus, and if it is a prepaid card, your wallet gets reduced by that amount of ticket that you've purchased. And that is, no other company in India offers an integrated LBS, fare and a payments product. We've invested in this product on our own. My entire front line are people from the IITs and IIMs, and we run a software development. This is all intellectual property that we've developed. A very quick snapshot. So these are the 50,000 odd vehicles that I'm talking about. We also do work for the last pillar that you see here on this slide, water tanker distribution management. So it's not location, how much the water tanker is filling up from the resources, and how much is it dispensing against the schedule. Is it actually going to the locality where it is supposed to deliver water, and how much water is being dispensed there. All of this information is available in real time on a screen to Delhi Jal Board officials. They run 500 odd tankers, all the entire technology and the pumping at the pump stations in their tankers has been developed by us, maintained by us as we speak. This is a capability and the back end, the robust IT infrastructure that I was talking about. So this is what is required. 50 gigabytes of feed comes to me every 6 hours. I need to have robust servers to take in place. More than 9 crore locations I am tracking every day. 50,000 vehicles at the frequency of 10 seconds. It also helps me in security of my citizens. Again, I'll tell you how. So this is what is the differentiator. We are not like any other service provider who puts a GPS in your bus or installs an ETM in your bus and says, okay, here the game begins. I am saying the game does not begin there. The game begins on how do you use that information and process it to make more meaningful decisions. So we do big data processing, we do social media analytics, what are consumers saying about it? I mean, we have a platform where passengers rather, write to us, oh, this driver and conductor did not stop at my bus stop, or he took a detour, or he deviated from his route. We do transit payment solutions, and we do text mining, and we pass on all this information through mobile apps. This is a state-of-the-art operations control center at Delhi. We have giant screens there. This is live. I would request any one of you, I'll drop my card. In case you are visiting Delhi, do drop me a call and I'll take you to this operations control center. You can visualize and see on your screen how your public transport is functioning in your city. And I'm talking about Delhi, which is 1.6 crores population. This is the intelligent signaling system in Delhi, first of its kind in India. There are 3 levels of intelligence. The traffic signaling, automatically the lighting the duration of red to green depends on the length of the queue of vehicles that has been formed. And this is a Scoot algorithm, which is an algorithm developed by a UK firm. We have optimized it internally to sort of give you this information. We're doing an intelligent traffic system project in Ahmedabad, Gujarat. And again, we are revamping their entire signaling system. We are doing a Wi-Fi signaling system in the city of Surat. As I mentioned, these signals, the traffic signal posts, are not linked through wires. So we all know that sometimes the roads have to be worked upon, they are dug up, your signals continue to work, and these are powered by solar panels. This is under implementation in Surat. I'll now switch tracks to say what is the analytics that I have always been talking about for the past 10 minutes. This is just a broad spectrum. The algorithms at the center are our intellectual property. We have developed them. We can tell you, and as Mr. Mathur was saying, we can tell you the estimated time of arrival. We can tell you where the congestion is going to happen in the city. We can tell you how your fleet of bus operations is doing. This circle that I've drawn here is the first of its kind in India. In the city buses that are running, I can predict whether you will get a seat or you will get to travel standing, whether the bus is crowded. And you can download it. This is an application called NextBus Delhi. I will show it to you on Android. And this is the first time in India, in the city buses. This is what I was saying on people who run public transport as to what can you do with all the fare information that is coming to you. So for example, you do a profiling that, okay, 65%, and this is a particular route I have taken, so 540 route number in Delhi, 65% people are purchasing a 5 rupee ticket, and only 6% people are purchasing a 15 rupee ticket, which means that if this bus is actually running on a long distance, there is no point in running this bus on a long distance. Maybe it's a social service, fine. But then people only are traveling shorter durations on this bus. That is why 5 rupees is only for, I think, 10 kilometers or 8 kilometers. Apart from that, the bus may be traveling empty. So it may be burning diesel and fuel, but it's not earning. So maybe there's a case in point that you may want to run shorter duration buses so that they can be captured. If I take you to this bottom graph, on the, I'm not sure if you can read it, on the x-axis you have the timings. So it starts from 5 a.m. till 10 a.m. And on the lines that you see here, These are all the various buses that are running from Tara apartment to XYZ. What we see here is that between 9:30 to 10:30, I generate the maximum amount of traffic here in terms of the revenue that I'm generating. So, is there an opportunity? One, these are decisions that public transport authorities can take. I can only provide the analytics. Do you want to run more buses? Or do you want to maximize revenues? Do you want to reduce the inconvenience which is being caused to your passengers by not allowing them to be traveling in crowded buses? We did all this analysis, and this was for the cluster bus which operates under a concession scheme. The earnings per kilometer over a 2-year period of time, we improved it from 20% by 20%, from 25 rupees per kilometer to 29.6 rupees per kilometer. And this is where I'm saying the power of analytics comes in. This is a space-time graph. Can anyone make out what is represented here? Bundled, jumbled lines, meaningless. This is put in front of my operator in the operations command center that I am showing you. And I'll tell you immediately what all insights can immediately accrue to you in this space-time graph. So, in the case in question is, this is a particular route number we picked up, 623 up. The date was 10 of November. On the y-axis, you have all the times. So, bus operation started at somewhere around 4:30 a.m. till going on up till Indian get around 11:30 p.m. somewhere here. On the y-axis, these are the bus stops. The bus stops that this bus 623 is traveling on. And now comes the intelligent insights. If you see, each horizontal line is actually a bus, and therefore I have plotted the entire operations of all the buses that run on this route on 623. You will notice patterns here. One is these blank lines rather, all throughout. Something was wrong at this particular bus stop, which is something Kasturba Marg or crossing is what's written here. If I remove this, you will see another pattern here. You'll see the lines are not moving in a constant slope, they are tilting up, which essentially means that at that point of time and at this bus, between these two bus stops, there was a congestion on the road. So the buses were traveling one after the other, they were close, they were queuing one after the other. That means they were impacting my frequency of carrying passengers. That means that there is a bottleneck on the road. It could be maybe there was a traffic diversion, or maybe the road has been dug up. I don't know. That is the second level of intelligence. And that's how we manage cluster bus operations. We don't have to call up the conductor, each conductor, but this is just a visual snapshot. My friend was talking about traffic and congestion. This is a live heat map. I will not take the name of the competitor here, or it's a big global giant that helps you in navigation. It's there on your smartphones. You can access it at the web link that's mentioned here. This predicts, the red lines here are the black lines that you see here, and I wish I could show you if I had live internet of the situation in Delhi. The black line that I see here, I've just drawn a circle, means that there is a jam there. 0 to 5 kilometers is the average speed on that segment of the road. Red lines is 5 kilometers to 12 kilometers is the average speed on that segment. There are yellow lines here which unfortunately are getting colored out, which means 12 to 25, and green lines show that the speed is more than 25 kilometers per hour. We have shared this with the fire department, with the police department. We gave them our links. You ask me, how am I doing it? And you can pinch and scroll, and if you see here, there is a button here which says live traffic. I've checked it up. So the moment you say live traffic, it gives you, and you can scroll the entire city of Delhi. How am I doing it? Simple. 50,000 vehicles, public transport vehicles are sending me their locational updates every 10 seconds. No other software sends you GPS feed. So all the apps that you have on your smartphone for traffic prediction, they are hierarchical. They are based on past history and traffic patterns. This is real feed, real-time prediction. Yes. I come on to the last part of my presentation, which is the power of mobile apps. Pucho is one mobile app, Nextbus Delhi is the other, and Telltale is on women's security. Pucho is a one-stop transit app. It was developed primarily for financial inclusion and digital inclusion, so as to speak, helps the commuter at any point of time to know where, if you open this app, you are here and you will see 4 or 5 vacant autos there on your screen, which means that these autos are available to ferry you to your next destination. You can, these are the screenshots, you can, if you touch one of those screens, you will get to see the registration number of the auto, and if you press call there, a call immediately gets connected to the auto driver. And you can negotiate whether he wants to take you to your next destination, yes or no. Sorry, it went back. It generates employment for the auto driver as well. This is all free of cost. It's available on Google Play, it's available on iOS also. The auto driver gets to sweat his asset more, financial inclusion, because now he doesn't have to search for the consumer. Consumer is happy because he knows where the auto is. Win-win for both. Then you also have a fare calculator here. So the commuter, if he wishes, if he's new to Delhi, you know, he presses from, I want to go from X to Y, and he'll get to know the distance and the fare, approximate fare. This is an interesting thing. He also gets to know the same thing that I showed you on traffic jams, he gets to see on the mobile app. So this is all traffic jams that you see are lasting for more than 25 minutes in the city of Delhi. You scroll up, you see all those jams. This is a very interesting thing on the left screen. This is called as crowdsourcing. I have asked the citizens of Delhi, as and when they are commuting through the roads, that they also can tell me where there is a jam. So if you open it up and say that jam, slow, smooth, fast, this is updated by the citizen, and he updates it, comes to my server, gets spread all across. So occupancy was something which I was saying first thing in eINDIA. This is how the Nextbus Delhi app looks like. You get to see that the next bus is arriving in 2 minutes. This is the bus number. It's crowded. But if you wait for 6 minutes, the next bus that is coming, you will get to travel standing. This is the first time in India. You get to know the seat availability in the city buses. Nextbus Delhi app, you can download it from, this was covered in the press, in the Star Times. We have a Google Play rating of 4 out of 5, 1,239 reviews. Very quickly, parking, Mr. Mathur. I am developing the parking for the NDMC area in Delhi. You get to know whether you'll get to park beforehand. This is what is the press coverage on Pucho. It was launched by the LG in July 2014. I want to, before I end here, I want to play you a very small video which is on Pucho, covered on BBC on November 3. It highlights the importance of digital inclusion with financial inclusion.
Catching an auto rickshaw can be a pain for Indian commuters. If you can't find one where they're swarming, you're often forced to wait and hope for a chance encounter. Not great in the summer heat, the monsoon rain, or if you're just in a rush. But now in several cities across India, there's a new way to hail an auto, as they're called locally, and it's as simple as reaching for your phone. In Delhi, Pucho is an app developed by the city's transport department to smooth commuters' way to work and help rickshaw drivers potentially earn more money. It pinpoints nearby rickshaws and displays them for you on Google Maps. Then just click on the icon to connect straight to a free driver. Auto, tin sa. If your Hindi's as bad as mine, then you might just want to text them where you are.
Well, drivers in Mumbai are more than happy to use the meter. Drivers elsewhere, like here in Delhi, are less keen. This application, however, helps you with haggling. It has a fare calculator, so you roughly know what you should be paying. This sort of transparency might not suit all drivers. However, the drivers I spoke to, those who had heard of Pucho, felt that it was good for business.
Someone is call me, I will go anywhere and pick up you and not look around in too much for alone in customer on the street.
We don't have to look for our passengers. Wherever we are, they contact us or call us on the phone.
Passengers do not haggle when giving us the money, and we earn comfortably.
Nobody has ever called me or complained. It is of no benefit to me.
This application, I think, is a better business for India and many people to like to rent rickshaw and taxi.
Very interesting.
Thank you. So I am running out of time. This is the IT management team. Very quickly, all of these people are involved. I'm incomplete if I don't acknowledge the team here. Most of us, I have joined eINDIA about 8 months ago. This is my first public-private partnership. I used to work with Dell earlier for the past 7 years. I'm an IT Kanpur, I'm Bangalore. My data scientist, Dr. Shailendra Singh, is from IIT Delhi, PhD Comp Science. And as I was mentioning, this is all the team that has gone behind Pucho in the 3 months in projecting it to an international news like BBC News. Thank you so much, and thank you for listening to me. I overshot. Thank you.
Urban transport and the things that have already been done and which are ready for implementation elsewhere. Before I move to the next presenter, let me apologize. I'll have to part ways now because I have a hot stop. I have to catch a flight. I'm requesting Sri Raviji from ELETS to continue with anchoring the presentation. I see that Sri Rajesh Agarwal is also here. Sri Rajesh Agarwal, Principal Secretary, IT Government of Maharashtra. After our next speaker, we'd also like to understand his views, his comments on smart cities. Let me call the next speaker now, Sri Ganesh Babu, Vice President, GIFT.
In the as a smart city in the infrastructure. Like this project is conceptualized in 2007 by ex-Chief Minister, Government of Gujarat, and the current Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. He himself has given the project title as GIFT, something he want to give as a gift to the nation. That's why he himself has decided the name as a GIFT, Gujarat International Finance Tech City, so which combines finance as well as technology in India. This project is developed on a PPP model with the help of Government of Gujarat and ILFS, Infrastructure Leasing and Financial Services, on 50-50 basis. If we see the development framework, like GUDC and ILFS has formed GIFT, and the buildings will be developed by the developers, whereas the city level infrastructure will be provided by the GIFT with the help of ILFS. If we see the strategic location, it is located on the outskirts of Gandhinagar, and it is very close to Ahmedabad airport, which is around 12 kilometers from the airport, which is having better road network connectivity. So from airport you can reach in 15-20 minutes to the project site. So this is the complete master plan, which is spreaded in 886 acre area. We are envisaging with 62 million square feet development with a commercial of 67%, residential 22% and social 11%. As the time is very short, I would like to show some of the videos.
The financial service sector is fast emerging as the growth engine with world-class technology, seamless connectivity, state-of-the-art infrastructure, and the finest talent pool. Analysts forecast the sector is poised to contribute up to 10 to 11 million jobs by 2020 in India. Capitalizing on this, Gujarat government is developing GIFT, Gujarat International Finance Tech City, a global financial hub. Gujarat, a preferred investment destination due to its political stability, strong leadership, pro-business policies, and vast talent pool. What's more, its intrinsic entrepreneurial spirit, backed by reliable resources and strong infrastructure, only adds to the advantage factor. The geostrategic positioning of GIFT will enable operators to service geographically extreme financial markets by bridging far-flung time zones. Accentuating the advantage factors, GIFT is located between Gandhinagar and Ahmedabad and also connected to the fastest growing Delhi-Mumbai industrial corridor planned along the NH8. GIFT also provides easy access to the Ahmedabad International Airport via a dedicated road link. Additionally, Metro and BRTS assures access to and fro from all sides. The bird's eye view reveals the futuristic design that GIFT is. A truly international and high-tech city spread over 886 acres of land by the riverside. The master plan is divided into two zones. A notified multiple services special economic zone with processing and non-processing areas, and the remaining area as domestic tariff area, the DTA. Urban form of the city is guided by superior infrastructure. large underground tunnel shall monitor, manage and facilitate the utility network of the entire city. Being a high-rise business district, state-of-the-art fire detection, firefighting and evacuation system is planned for GIFT. A truly global financial hub where wealth creates wealth.
As we are infrastructure.
The GIFT, Gujarat International Finance Tech City, is planned with state-of-the-art infrastructure, which makes GIFT a smart city. Some of its highlights are power. At GIFT, the power reliability is 99.999%, implying an annual outage of 5.3 minutes. It will have a feed of 750 megawatt from two 400 kV lines. Receiving substation will be gas-insulated switchgear substation. 20% of total load is assumed as emergency requirement and shall be generated through in-house gas-based power plant. Power distribution would be via utility trenches through HT cables at 33 kV. Compact substations, depending on the load density, shall be placed at the refuge floors of tall buildings to enable connectivity to all floors and minimize distribution losses. District cooling system. GIFT will be India's first ever model of city-wide district cooling system, a highly energy efficient system that will air condition the city. The cooling demand will be met through GIFT's decentralized, modular and interconnected DCS plants to meet the SEZ and non-SEZ requirements efficiently. Chilled water will be produced at 4.5 degrees Celsius at the DCS plant and distributed via pre-insulated pipes through trenches to energy transfer stations located at the basements of each building. The BTU metering will be provided at the primary site of the energy transfer station at the individual building location to measure the chilled water consumption by each building. The return water will be carried back to the DCS plant to reject the heat by using the cooling towers. Additionally, a thermal storage will be charged at night hours between 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. to utilize the night better demand management. DCS by design will overall improve efficiency, conserve energy, save space and reduce environmental impact. Integrated water management system. GIFT's entire water requirement will be met from the Narmada Canal via the dedicated raw water pumping station at Nabhoi, which is 11 kilometers away. With Samruddhi Sarovar being the receiving point as well as doubling up as master reservoir, storing up to 15 days water requirement of the whole city. From Samruddhi Sarovar, the water will be pumped to water treatment plants positioned and designed for efficient and equitable distribution of water system in grid or loop pattern. In line with sustainable infrastructure vision, GIFT is planned for zero discharge. 100% wastewater and HVAC blowdown water will be tertiary treated to the desired quality and recycled to use for DCS, flushing and horticulture purposes. automated waste collection and segregation. Automated waste collection and segregation system will source all the waste generated from various establishments and green areas at GIFT. It will be conveyed through the chute by gravity and stored in temporary storage section. The solid waste from temporary storage section will be conveyed to the central waste handling facility through automated waste collection system. The recyclable waste will go to the recycling vendor and compacted non-recyclable waste will go to the landfill or waste-to-energy plant. Integrated transport system would automatically direct the private vehicles coming to GIFT to multi-level parking zones located conveniently at 9 locations across the city. Those reaching by public transport such as metro and BRTS would have access to a well-connected network of elevated walkways and shaded sidewalks leading to the respective building blocks, uninterrupted by the vehicular traffic. The main arterial road network is designed for signal-free movement of vehicles through an inclusive network of grade separators at intersections with intuitive traffic signages. Advanced infrastructure system and management. A dedicated utility service corridor housed in huge underground trenches works as the lifeline for GIFT. It facilitates, monitors and manages the utility network of the entire city. The utility trench is laid alongside the road measuring about 7.6 meters by 6.2 meters, which is divided into wet and dry sections to carry all the trunk utilities till the block perimeter. For hassle-free operations, a designated maintenance vehicle corridor with overhead gantry crane is provided. All the piping and instrumentation is sensor-based and coordinated with the centralized City Command and Control Center. In case of any fault, the information shall be relayed at C4 in real time and will be attended immediately. Intelligent Building Management System and Intelligent Infrastructure Management System. GIFT adheres to the most advanced building and infrastructure management systems. IBMS and IIMS is implemented as an integrated open solution which enables all-time connectivity with the centralized City Command and Control Center. Developers and enterprises can make use of the flexibility of IP technologies to realize interoperability and convergence. Intelligent Building Management System will enable energy management by HVAC and lighting control, water monitoring, facility management, safety and security for its occupants by fire detection and alarm system, evacuation and public address system, security and surveillance, access control system, and parking management. ICT infrastructure. At GIFT, the Information and Communication Technology ICT is built to deliver competitive advantage to organizations operating regionally and globally with its pre-enabled on-demand infrastructure. The ICT infrastructure includes 24/7 high-speed connectivity across the campus, on-the-move connectivity across the city by pervasive Wi-Fi network and highly secured Tier 3-4 data centers offering highest uptime available. The ready-to-use platforms such as cloud computing, financial extranets, dedicated access to closed user groups, City e-portal, IPTV, internet gateways using fiber to the premises technology are all built on green ethos. GIFT, an international financial hub in the making.
Phase 1 infrastructure is all whatever plants and operations you have seen in the video, you can see on the ground also. Thank you.
Visionary video, lot of high-tech stuff not yet seen in India at all. So I think we are already highly delayed in the session, so without much ado, we'll have to close this session here. And the speakers are available for interacting with you or taking your questions after the sessions in the lunch or tea. So please interact with them. I invite Karthik to close the session now.
This before we close the session.
I believe that we should be actually talking about livable cities with happy citizens rather than really high-tech cities. And when we basically start equating a smart city with a sort of high-tech city, I believe that city of Lavasa can claim to be sort of designed as a smart city. But again, it's a gated community, so it's not a very open city kind of thing. The city of Mumbai, which media calls maximum city, it's open 24/7, unlike Delhi, which practically shuts down at 7 p.m. It's the most cosmopolitan. It has wonderful cinema, art, and restaurant scenario, which if you read about smart cities, many international magazines also say that smart cities, what are smart cities? Which have a very vibrant art installation scenario, which have very good cycling tracks. So in that sense, also Mumbai scores well. Then BKC, Bandra Kurla complex, that can rightly claim to be the best business district in the country. And as far as introduction of technology is concerned, I am heading the technical committee for Mumbai surveillance CCTV project. Hopefully next week we should be able to close that issue. So, and in SIDCO we have added a Wi-Fi, basically intranet mesh to that framework in the SIDCO tender which has come out. So that could be useful to many other consulting firms and many other cities. So we have put that document in public domain as open creative content kind of Creative Commons license. So anybody can pick up that document, modify it and use it. So it has city surveillance elements as well as a Wi-Fi mesh where any passing by bus, any weather sensor, any smart signage, they can interact with that. So a lot of so-called smart city elements can be integrated using that framework. So that document is available everywhere. And I was really impressed with the presentation from Delhi transport team. And I believe a lot of transport data and other sensors data. Like New York City, we should start putting it in the public domain as open XML files. Then citizens will create dozens of apps, commercial and non-commercial. So that's what's happening in European cities and American cities. A lot of public data, a lot of sensors data that is being put on the net. So I think without basically any further investment, if we start doing that, a lot of smartness will automatically come into the systems. Thank you.
About smart cities, and we had various different perspectives, whether in terms of technology provider or PSU perspective, government perspective, private companies, perspective from private companies. So overall, it was a fruitful discussion, I hope. And with that, now we move on to the memento giving ceremony, and I invite Mohammed K. Saifullah sir, Director IT Mission, Government of Kerala, to please present mementos to our esteemed panelists in today's first session of I request for a group photo, please.